Good afternoon, 4 o'clock on a warm Wednesday. I'm Tom Green. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Kim Christensen. You know, they call it a dry heat.
Yeah, they call it that.
It's like sticking your head in an oven. And it's going to stay like this every day. We tapped back into the 90s again today. Photojournalist Byron Reed caught some people out frolicking, if you will, in Union Station's splash pads out there. We've been saying this all week, prepare because it's going to get hotter. A lot of folks are going to be headed to water over the next few days. Denver will be under a new heat advisory starting Friday through the weekend.
Kathy Sabin's with us. Kathy, we've been talking about the crazy temperatures we've seen out to the west, but they are making their way here.
Yep, plenty of warning, plenty of time to prepare, and it is coming. Some of the warmest temperatures of the season and perhaps a historic heat wave for Denver if we see over 100 degrees for 3 days in a row. Today, 91 so far. Fair skies, light winds out there. Temperatures starting to climb, though. You look out toward the western slope. Grand Junction at 100, Moab at 100. That's the heat that will be invading the western slope tomorrow and then into the Denver metro area as we move into Friday. This heat advisory is not out now. We want to give you plenty of time to prepare for this. Pets and kids and all of it, the rest of it. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Denver and down toward the Pueblo area. Temperatures 98 to 103 degrees for 3 days in a row. And that can certainly be dangerous, as you know. So the heat wave is coming. Record highs are possible. We will see some relief in the extended forecast. There are some storms with rain, but it will be days before that happens. And we're watching the wind very closely as well, because as we see the wind come in, we may be talking about fire danger as well. And these thunderstorms that we're watching along the spine of the Continental Divide have wind and lightning with them and not the rain we need. Severe threat is outside our state's border for tonight. There may be a brief little foothill storm, maybe a couple sprinkles on the windshield around Conifer and Evergreen, but that's really about it. It's just all about the heat. We have a warm, dry evening ahead and then a really warm pattern setting up for Friday and the weekend. I'm going to talk about the impact and the timing of the impending heat wave. That's just ahead.
More weather to talk about. Texas officials saying it's going to be days, maybe even weeks before power is restored to parts of the Texas coastline hit by Hurricane Beryl. New video showing us more of the damage done on Galveston Island. The storm made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane. Much of the damage you can see to rooftops, but the closer you get to where the center of Beryl came ashore, the destruction increases, particularly in Surfside Beach. Many homes there were damaged, and a few train cars as well derailed near Surfside by the strong winds that Beryl brought ashore. Power crews continue to work around the clock trying to restore power, while Texas now sees extreme temperatures. Of course, if there's no power, that means no air conditioning, with the heat index in places like Houston going up over 100 degrees. Because of that, the city of Houston and some nonprofits are opening cooling centers to help people get a break from the extreme heat. Now, despite Beryl losing some force, the front is still threatening to flood areas of eastern Texas, western Louisiana, and Arkansas. That's all according to the National Hurricane Center. Before Beryl made landfall in Texas, it roared through islands in the Caribbean, including the small island of Miro.
The director of the National Emergency Management Organization in St. Vincent says about 95% of the homes on that island and another were damaged or destroyed. And that includes the family home of a couple from Thornton. They share with Jaleesa Rosari what the last few days have been like for them.
Very tiny. There's definitely no dot on this map.
Some people travel the world to live in a place they love.
Trinidad and Tobago and St. Lucia.
Allie Olivier's home may be in Thornton, but a piece of her heart is somewhere else.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've been living there on and off since 2011, and it's a place that is very, very special and important.
Miro is the smallest inhabited island of the Grenadines. It's also where Allie's husband is from.
It's a beautiful place.
And where his family still lives.
I mean, all of these houses normally have roofs.
Hurricane Beryl tore through the tiny island. The director of the National Emergency Management Organization in St. Vincent says about 95% of the houses were damaged or destroyed, to the point where Allie's husband, Turban Vandal, couldn't recognize it.
Tripping, like seeing the photos, and it's just like I'm having hard time here processing. I can't even imagine like what is happening back home.
Much of Turban's family endured the storm together. In the thick of it, they turned a couch and hid underneath it for cover.
So they're in my sister's home and they're watching this roof coming off and windows is breaking, just shatters window glasses, just shattering. You're hearing this like, Mom, you lost everything in the space of 5 hours.
The story is unfortunately not unique on this island.
This is not how it's supposed to look.
It's why Allie is trying to help from here, checking on the 350 plus people on the island and trying to navigate some resources.
Everybody has to come together to build anything that they want to build.
The long rebuild may be rough, but in this home, they know the people are resilient.
Myra's strong, Myra's strong.
Allie says no one on the island died in this storm, so they're thankful for that. She hopes what happened here will encourage people to educate themselves on the smaller islands in the Caribbean that don't get the same attention others do. And while they're at it, try and support the rebuild if they can. Jaleesa Rosari, 9 News.
That rebuild will be years in the making, and you're right, these islands, most of us haven't heard of them, but it is a blessing, a miracle that no one was killed.
So thankful that no one was hurt. And they talk about how small this island is, right? Everyone's family in this island. They all know each other. They all help each other. So this is so personal for them. On top of it, that rebuild is going to take years. Talk about the tourism impact it'll have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They rely on it. That's the dollars they need. Okay, Jaleesa, we'll keep those things in mind. Thank you for calling attention to it. Another family in Denver is going through something very similar. Babington and Amber Kelly say they just returned from Jamaica when they found out a hurricane would be headed that way. They say the couple says they left their 10-year-old son there to be with family for the summer. They also have a daughter and other family who live there as well. When they found out about the threat of a hurricane, the couple says it just wasn't as simple as booking a plane ticket. Instead, they had to stay put and just hope for the best, something they say tore them up inside.
It has been the most helpless feeling that I have ever had. Not only are we not able to go there, but we don't have the means to do all that we need to do.
We're still trying to cope, to know that no one lost their life. The most important thing on earth to me is that no one died.
The Kelly says it took about 3 days following the storm before they finally heard from their family. Today, they got the chance to speak with his sister, Samoa, who's still living in the wreckage in Jamaica with children of her own. And while it's difficult, she's doing her best to stay positive.
It's really bad out here, what the hurricane has done. It's really bad, so it takes a little time for everything to just come back. So if someone should say, Sam, how are you coping? Are you living? Are you surviving? I would say, well, I'm surviving. That's what I'm.
Samoa says conditions in Jamaica are slowly progressing every day, but it's going to be a while before life returns to any kind of normalcy. Meanwhile, Babington and his wife say they're working to get supplies out to Jamaica and to their family specifically. They say their son will stay out there for at least the next month.
A Fort Collins teacher is under arrest, now facing charges for sexually assaulting a child, and police say their concern is that there could be more victims. Eben King now facing multiple charges. He worked as a teacher and assistant track coach at Lincoln Middle School in Fort Collins for 8 years. But in April, staff reported him to police with accusations that he inappropriately touched students. Detectives are concerned that there could be more victims or witnesses. Anyone who believes that they might be a victim or might have additional information are asked to contact Fort Collins Police. We did reach out to Poudre Schools about the arrest. They told us that the charges stem from alleged behavior that took place during this past school year.
President Biden is working to build up support within his own party as he also focuses on international issues at the NATO summit. But questions loom about his ability to win the election. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet is the first Democratic senator to publicly voice concerns about that. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest.
President Biden tackling two fronts today, foreign policy at the NATO summit, where member countries are pledging a new commitment to invest more in defense production.
We can and will defend every inch of NATO territory.
That after meeting with labor union leaders.
We're going to grow the economy.
Long, a key source of his support.
And I think of you as my domestic NATO.
The president looking for political cover amid lingering doubts over his future. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi today stopping short of saying he should stay in the race.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run.
That despite the president repeatedly and forcefully saying he is running. A Pelosi spokesman later adding she fully supports what the president decides and that it's time to focus on the harm of a potential second Trump presidency, precisely why other Democrats are raising the alarm.
Donald Trump is on track, I think, to win this election and maybe win it by a landslide and take with him the Senate and the House.
In a New York Times essay, actor George Clooney urging Democrats to get behind a new nominee, just weeks after co-hosting a major Biden fundraiser, writing, "It's devastating to say it, but the Joe Biden I was with 3 weeks ago was not the Biden of 2010 or 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate." And as many Democrats come to the president's defense.
I support President Biden. He has been an excellent president.
Former President Trump turning his firepower on Vice President Kamala Harris.
Because we are going to beat any one of them.
As he prepares to announce his own running mate. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Colorado's other Democratic Senator John Hickenlooper won't say if he thinks Biden should be the nominee. He told reporters on Capitol Hill today that he will weigh in when the time is right.